How deep is a Steve anyway? Wow, you're 16 inches tall. I think I may have overestimated how much snow we were going to get today. By about... T-Rex, how many inches? 16, yeah. Oh wait, it's starting to snow. Thing is, it's lunchtime. And we're going into the fourth quarter of this storm. I think it's been snowing in Foxborough pretty much most of the day. Oh, this hurts. I've been licking my wounds for sure. Steve, do you want to come out? Come on, let's go illustrate what the weather is doing. What are you smelling it? You smelling the air? All right, Steve is staying inside. I don't blame you. Rex is probably going to go inside. How's the ice bucket doing? A lot more water in here than there was yesterday. But we are now in our second January thaw. The temperature did not get below freezing in the last 30 hours. It looked promising last night. It snowed for a few minutes, and it was still. And then the backdoor cold front reversed direction and went all the way back to Worcester last night. And it's been snowing up in the sky over my head since 10 o'clock. So we're now about 20 hours. No, I'm sorry, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock plus 2, plus another 12, 14 hours into our 18 to 20 hour event. And if this were snow, 1 inch of water, plus another probably 0.2, so we're passing about 1.2 inches of water, which would have been a Steve deep of snow. But like many of the other meteorologists said, the ocean was just too warm. The snow level over our head is about 500 feet. And it actually was snowing here most of the night. I was looking out the window, and I was hopeful that when I woke up there would be some snow on the ground. Not the case. And of course, right this very second, it's changing to snow. So the ground will be turning white here. There are some bands of heavy precipitation still to go. So like I said, we're going to the fourth quarter of this storm. And if you look at the really big picture, the forecast was kind of accurate. I mean, there was a stripe of snow from northern New Jersey and Pennsylvania across interior New York and Connecticut up through Massachusetts and into southern Maine, with many reports of 13 inches of snow and still going. So the original forecast for where it was all snow, not so bad. And I know there are some places that did not get into the heavier bands. And it's not over yet. But I think that average snowfall of a foot where it's all snow in higher elevations worked out pretty good. You just have to move 9 miles and up 600 feet right there at the top of the Blue Hill in eastern Massachusetts. We're passing 8.5 inches of snow, and it's still coming. So essentially this is a snowstorm, but that wind from the east, the very bottom layers of the atmosphere, was just too warm, so I blew it. I really blew it. All right, snowflakes are getting bigger. I think I'm going to let T-Rex in and come back out and continue this. You want to go in, Rex? Yeah, I bet. Does Steve want to come out? It's a question. You good? You want to come out? No, you're just going to sit there. You're tied up, but try not to go anywhere then. Maybe I should just finish it in here so you can hear what I'm talking about without the wind. 34 degrees. It says we're going to have a thunderstorm. The thing always says we're going to have a thunderstorm. So it was 35 when it started last night, and then the temperature went up to 37, and now it's just coming back down, and there is a sort of a flash freeze potential where there was a lot of slush. One of my favorite webcams, we put this one up to Steve in Shrewsbury. He's out plowing and working today, and he says, it was about 32 when the sun came up, and then it went down to about 23, and it's still snowing. Steve also yesterday shared some video of his backyard, actually his daughter's backyard. They made a skating rink, so a backyard rink actually worked after just a couple of freezing nights. He said the trick is get it really flat and put in only 2 or 3 inches of water. Thank you, Steve, for sharing that. And a lot of people sharing other ski videos from this morning. Josh said that he skinned up at Jay Peak and had some fun runs until the wind really started cranking, passing about 8 inches of snow at Jay Peak. That's a way overachiever, and I didn't think the wind would be so strong from the northwest. There's more going on than just this coastal storm. I mean, if you look at the satellite imagery there, first of all, look at that storm way out in the Atlantic Ocean. That's the one that missed us on Thursday. That's a 954 millibar storm, and it dwarfs what's going on around here. But if we close into the northeast, we have our low pressure system south of Long Island right now, and there's the backdoor cold front that just stalled right there along I-95 in eastern Massachusetts. You can kind of watch that snake back to another low pressure system near Lake Superior this morning. And I forgot to mention that yesterday, that was going to be sort of a conduit for this storm to kind of reach north and west and really overachieve. Talk about a lean, cold rule. The radar showed the snow all the way up into Ontario and Quebec this morning. So even at the Canadian border, Josh up there passing about 8 inches of snow, and he went out the door this morning with Wilson. Yes, Wilson. What a beautiful, handsome, nice dog. He's 15 years old. Wilson, we love you. And so thank you for sharing. Josh also said, you might not want to try and take the pass on Route 242. People are getting out of their cars. They're stuck trying to get up the hill there in northern Vermont. And so this storm is definitely achieving in the snow department, just not in my backyard. Look at T-Rex. He's all eager. You want to go back out again, T-Rex? Let me clean the lens. Doggy. All right. We'll go back out. We'll do this again. Dog is in. He wants to go out. Dog is out. He wants to go in. He goes out. He wants to go in. Yeah. All right, taking it outdoors again. Well, maybe we'll get some big snowflakes before we're done here. I'll stand right here, and we can watch the wind, which now is coming in from the east-northeast, so it's getting colder from the top down and from north to south. And we are still getting snow on the Patriots game, so it's a very interesting afternoon. But it's a terrible pattern, though. It's a terrible pattern, not only for blowing a forecast, but what's going to happen tonight with the cold air coming in here. Temperatures get down to the teens, so you get a refreeze going on. It looks quiet and dry. Tuesday morning, also a very hard freeze. And then another storm's coming at us, and boy, is there a warm front coming in here. This low looks like it's going to be just a terrible storm in the Great Lakes states, deeping into the 970s. I mean, the cold is going to put up a fight here in the northeast, but the wind from the south is forecast to be gusting 70 to 80 miles an hour near the beaches near Cape Cod, with the advection from the south lined up from the surface all the way up into the highest levels of the atmosphere, up to 35,000 feet up there. The wind is just cranking. What a storm. Snow is going to move north, and it's going to turn into a wall of torrential rain and thunderstorms. And that's Tuesday night into early Wednesday. Northern Maine may end up with mostly snow from that one. And then there's going to be a sort of an intermediate cold blast coming in here on Thursday into Friday. And then another system's coming at us on Saturday. And again, that looks like what we call an inside runner. It goes up through the Great Lakes states, and once again you have the snow near the Canadian border and rain in southern New England and a terrible mix in between, and then it gets colder. We're talking record cold out in central and western United States and Canada, and then another storm comes up here, maybe in pieces, along an Arctic boundary that's going to stall here next Monday, and Tuesday, another mess. Oh my goodness. Where this is all rain, including today's event, we're looking at about a half a foot of H2O, quantitative precipitation. And so we're going to have flooding in southern New England, even areas that have so much snow on the ground right now, because, you know, we've already had our record wet December, and now we're looking at a record wet January. So this is dwarfing those storms we had back to back to back in 1978 and 1996. Yeah, we've had plenty of big winter storms since then, but none so close together with so much liquid content. It's like maybe I should take my flag down, huh? So Weird tried to talk me into going skiing this morning with Ross, and Ross actually hiked up at Crotchet before the slopes even opened. Not only was it snowing in Francistown, New Hampshire, they had the guns going, so good job Ross and Weir and Carl up at Stowe watching the snow in his yard just pile up. I love your snow steak, Carl. And thanks for watching my videos. I think that in northern Vermont, we're probably going to end up with equal amounts of rain and snow with these next several storms, but it will be probably the Mount Washington Valley to northern Maine that could get the most snow. I want to see the 10-day snowfall. I haven't even looked at it yet myself, but it is coast to coast. This is going to be week 11 now of coast-to-coast snow in North America, and it's going to be the biggest week so far. And the cold that's coming into North America is going to be extreme, and this pattern doesn't show any signs of abating. Maybe the storm track will shift south of us so we can get some snow, Cape Cod and the islands. And for you, Martin, on Cape Cod, on Nantucket rather, I want to get you some snow too, but I'm just licking my wounds here. My fingers are freezing. My flagpole is bending. I'm going to take that line down right now, Doug. I'm going to replace it with a stronger line, but it is kind of a heavyweight flag. So as the snow comes in and the temperature goes down, we're going to get pasted here. So I'll leave you with a little bit from yesterday. Charlie came over. We had a fire late in the day and at night, and I thought it was going to be snowing. It ended up raining, so I was really bummed out. And just yesterday was a nice, peaceful day. Charlie and I wanted to go boating, but there were reasons we couldn't. So no boating yesterday or in the near future. And it doesn't look like we're going to have any ice around here yet, at least the first half of January, maybe the second half of January, but totally different story once you move north and west. Talk to you later. Thanks for sticking with me through all this. Talk about peaceful quiet ahead of a storm. Storm's coming in from the left, and new colder air is coming in from the right. Why New England has some of the most interesting weather on earth. It comes from every direction. Looks like boating has been canceled for today. Too bad, because we could have gone out there and looked at that skiff. Try to figure out why sometimes it's sticking out and sometimes it's not. I think it's all wrapped around its mooring line. It's low water right now. I don't know what's up with T-Rex. I've never seen him so eager to go for a walk. Why are you so eager to go for a walk, Rex? The animals know something's going on. The chickens know, the dogs know, the birds know. The storm clouds are gathering. Doesn't really feel like snow right now. Sometimes you can feel it, you know what I mean? Looks a little bit more like a rain sky because there's a differential between the gray in the background and the gray in the front ground. And it's getting colder up in the sky though. That's kind of important to make it snow. Need cold air, that's one of the things, right? I'm gonna go check the compost pile over here, Rex. See what we got for new compost. Somebody puts their leftover salad stuff right here all the time. Lemon, strawberry, carrots. There's something new. Those pickles, are they still good? The snow's gonna be coming from that direction, blowing up into there, pasting all these trees. Not gonna be all snow. A wintry mix is expected across the listening area. Indeed. And more and more and more. No boating for TK today, but somebody went boating. Glassy water. Beautiful. Beginning to snow just north of New York City as the sun goes down here just south of Boston. That's coming at us from the southwest. And it's also been snowing on Cape Ann and into Haverhill for a couple of hours now, coming in from the east and the northeast from both directions. Fascinating. There you can see the snow clouds developing. And our little dinghy has gone submersed again. It's under the water. It's got to be corkscrewed around the mooring line, like Doug said. Anyhow, this is the last daylight before the storm. What's first light gonna bring? I think we'll have a coating of snow anyway, even if it's a mix of rain and snow overnight. And temperatures are definitely marginal. Love when we don't really have a solid forecast. Mother Nature is in charge, as always. Just past 8 o'clock, 0 wind at my yard on the edge, southern end of Boston Harbor. Yet over the water, it's 10 to 20 from the east-southeast, and there's a wall of precipitation running into this barrier that is the cold, stagnant, heavy air mass. It's going up over our head, and I don't even know whether it's going to rain or snow in about 5 minutes. But either way, I'm feeding the worms, just in case. Actually, just cleaning up, getting rid of the leaves in my yard. But I don't even know, but it's a perfect example of cold air damming and a wall of snow coming in off the water. 8:44 p.m. It's about 36 degrees and we have dendrites. It is an incredible wall of snow forming south of Boston this evening. It is meeting and exceeding all expectations for the wild card of a backdoor cold front. How can there be no wind in my yard on the south end of Boston Harbor? I'm actually picking up leaves and they're not even blowing around. Don't you always get the leaves with the first snow? Interesting is that there's no wind right here, and out over the water, the wind is from the east at about like 10 to 15 miles an hour. Yeah. So the cold is just a heavy dome, then the warm air is going over the top of it and producing this ocean effect snow right now. Well, it snowed for a minute anyway. That was kind of fun. I hope that's not the end of the storm. So we're burning a piece of history here. That's a fence post from Jerry's yard on Bailey. Charlie's a new neighbor here, kind of, relatively. I've been here since 2016. When did you get here?
2010.
2010. Charlie's been here longer than me. I didn't know it. And there's Steve right up in there watching us. He's wishing he could come out. I guess I should let him out. So anyhow, it stopped. It's almost drizzling now. Very interesting. I hope that's not the end of the storm. 35 degrees. It snowed for like 10 minutes. Steve, this way. Come on. You're on the video. Go out. Arms right.
They say they are not interested in 24 variants of precipitation.
He just loves the back rub he gives himself. I'm not. East wind has penetrated the dome of cold over Weymouth, for the record. We've had intermittent little bursts of snow, then rain. Now it looks like maybe some snowflakes, but there was no wind until that first little burst came through. So we're getting on the warmer side of that little boundary, but many boundaries and hours to go. And now, just about 10 o'clock, wind from the east. Clearly warm, and it's pure rain. Thanks for asking. Okay, next update, 7 a.m. All rain. Bummer. Steve turned his back on me too.